So we're going to start, as always, with a patient, and that means I'm going to pass the microphone to Victor to share the experience. Can you give us some perspective from youth cancer patients? What are the kinds of inequalities that you've heard about or that are coming from your network?
Yes, so I'll try not to be too harsh, but there's things I have to say because that's why we gathered here. Cancer patients face numerous inequalities. Some of these inequalities include, for example, late diagnosis. IAs often present with more advanced diseases as they are not perceived as being at risk for cancer, for example, and they are not routinely screened. Lack of age-specific treatment options because they are not often treated with either pediatric or adult protocols, which do not take into account the unique biological development and psychosocial characteristic of this age group. Inadequate psychological support as they increased psychosocial and emotional stress as they navigate cancer and the transition to adulthood, which is really important. There are several factors that contribute to these inequalities, including a lack of research and access to innovative therapies, clinical trials, medicines, and supportive services such as fertility preservation and mental health. In some areas, such as Eastern Europe, IA cancer patients face even more obstacles and disparities in access to quality care and resources compared to Western Europe. This includes a lack of financial aid for housing support and a higher prevalence of financial discrimination, for example, which can make it even harder for IA cancer patients to receive the care they need. Moreover, it's really important to mention that cancer survivors from the LGBTQ community face additional obstacles, including a lack of access to adoption rights, which can make it difficult for them to start families. In some countries, trans men with female organs might not even have the right to certain population-based free screening programs, further exacerbating the inequalities faced by LGBTQ IA cancer patients. For young people from Roma communities, the stigma and labels attached to their identity can also contribute to inequalities in access to healthcare. Youth Cancer Europe, for example, that I'm representing here today as well, is working to combat these inequalities by incorporating voices of young people from Eastern Europe and Central Eastern Europe and raising awareness about the challenges faced by refugee cancer patients. For example, I'm from Moldova. Yes, so that's Eastern Europe, for those that don't know. I had kidney cancer for 17 years. So I saw what it means for your zip code to decide your pathway as a cancer patient. So these collaborative opportunities, when IAs from Youth Cancer Europe and other organizations as well come together to really be heard, I think allow for things to go into the right directions and for things to happen for cancer patients and cancer survivors.
Thank you very much. I should say that Victor's intervention is incredibly impressive, given that we actually only asked him to be on the panel about 25 minutes ago, because he's stepping in. We had another youth cancer survivor who was going to be on the panel, but was feeling unwell. And what a fantastic sign of solidarity. You stepped up, and thank you for doing that at very short notice.
I'm honored. Thank you.
What do you hope that the sort of young cancer patients would get out of these first steps in a journey?
Well, not only young cancer patients and cancer survivors, but everyone. Just look at the results. The results are really speaking for themselves. Survivorship. Cancer is no longer a death sentence. There is life, and we need to make sure that this life after cancer is as good as possible for everyone. So if there is one thing that everyone needs to go home with, is thinking about how to make the life of cancer survivors better and better and better.
Excellent. So can we say a warm thank you to our panel for engaging in this topic?